There we go.
Hi everybody, I'm Paige from Taylor Sewing Quilt Shop, and today I'm going to do a demo on the Apliquick tools. First, I'm going to show you what tools that are used with the Apliquick process, but a short little tidbit: if you enjoy doing applique, whether it's needle turn or raw edge, this is another technique that you can use where you use a lightweight fusible interfacing such as this from Apliquick. You don't need to take it out of your applique piece, so it's very durable. And because you're turning the edges in like you would needle turn, but using a little bit different technique, your applique piece is going to be very durable for your quilts. So what I'll do is I'll show you all the tools that are used for the Apliquick technique, and then I'll give you a brief demonstration. So first of all, as I mentioned, there is the Apliquick interfacing that comes in small packages like that, and that's what I'm going to use today. We use the bowhin glue along with the refill tube that comes with it. I like the bowhin glue just because it does have a color to it, so when you're using it you can see where you have applied it. These are the Apliquick rods. These are the two rods that you will use to turn your fabric over and underneath the interfacing, and they're both a little bit different. This one you'll see has a beveled edge, and at the other end it has a point, and this one has a fork on the end of it, and at the other end is a point. Another tool is the set of tweezers, so that's very handy when you're picking up very small pieces. Here are some Apliquick scissors, nice tiny little snips for cutting your fabric in the interfacing, and also an Apliquick pencil for tracing out your shapes. So the block that I have done is this one. So I've started another one, and I'm going to make the other flip-flop, and I'll show you how I do that. So you're going to take your stencil piece, and you're going to take your Apliquick piece of interfacing, and something to note is using either a piece of paper or another, maybe a little paper towel, just to protect your surface from the glue, because you will get a fair amount of glue on. So lay that down first. Then you'll see on the interfacing there's a shiny side and a dull side. So you're going to draw on the dull side. So I'm going to lay this down and just trace out with my pencil around the flip-flop. There we go. And then what you do is you cut out your shape using your scissors, nice and sharp, and you're going to cut along the edge of your shape exactly as it is. So around we go. So having a nice sharp pair of scissors is very helpful. Okay, just about there. Done. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to take your pink fabric, which I have misplaced. So we're going to use the, actually I found it. So you're going to want to put, although I'm using batiks, you would want to put your shiny side, the adhesive side, on the back of your material. So I'm going to just go to the iron and iron that down into place. So you just iron it enough that it will stay in place and not lift up. So there we go. So now this is where, when you're cutting, you're going to cut out your shape, and you're going to leave about I like to leave a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch around. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut all around the outside, leaving about 1/8 of an inch. There we go. Okay. Now this piece has very gentle, smooth curves. So typically if you have an inside curve, you want to just take a few little snips out from the bottom of your fabric, just below where the interfacing is. You don't want to get too close to the interfacing. Just enough so that when you're going to be turning these over with the rods, that your fabric will easily go into place for you. So I'll put that down. So now this is where we're going to start to use our rods. So I've got my piece cut out. You can see it's about 1/8 of an inch around the actual shape. So taking my glue, I'm going to do the top area of the piece, just enough to do a little bit at a time, and you can work at your own pace. So now I'm going to use the forked end to hold my piece down close to the edge of where your line was drawn or where your cut edge is of the interfacing. And then in your right hand, if you're right-handed, you're going to kind of hold it like a pencil at an angle, and then your beveled edge kind of off to the side. So then just gently, you'll take the beveled edge, and then with your wrist, you're going to turn and just press lightly so that the glue will affix to the interfacing. And you're just going to do a little bit at a time to create that nice smooth edge. And you can go back and smooth things down a bit. And then you just keep going. Oh, now that way I've run out of glue, so I'm going to just rotate it and work on the other side where it was. If you make a little mistake here or you don't like it, how it's turning over, you can take your rod and just lift it while the glue is still a little bit moist and just fix it. And there. And then you can also take the edge and just lightly tap if you see any little points. But that is getting you a nice smooth edge. So I'm just going to work my way around, and this is the inside corner here, so that's where we made those little snips just to help ease the fabric into place. There we go, and you can see that helps right at that turning area. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to lift that. Now if you have any questions while watching the video, feel free to put them into the chat. I've taped this so that if anybody wants to watch it at a later time, or they're already busy in another session, we can do that. It will be available. Oh, I need some more glue. So you just work your way around until you get that done. I find it is quite relaxing. There we go. And the glue is tacky enough. Now, if you find you've got a new glue stick, sometimes new glue sticks don't have that same tackiness. So my little cheater trick is just leave it sitting out uncapped while you're doing this, and just a little bit of dry time will help give it a little bit of tack to help it stick, but for the most part it's pretty good. Okay, so we're coming around the final section here. A little more glue. There we go. And with some practice, you get the hang of it. But I really like once you're finished, you have that nice smooth edge, and then you can either hand stitch it in place, or you can do a nice blanket stitch on your sewing machine to finish it using some different colors, however you like. Last little bit here. Now I'm going to do a small piece once I finish this one, just to show you how to deal with corners. There. So generally, or typically, I would flip this over, and if I see any little spots that maybe are a little pointed, you can always do a little adjustment there. So there's the start of my flip-flop. So I've already pre-cut. This is the strap. This is the finished one. Here's the little strap that's going to go, and I've already cut it out. You can see I've cut it about 1/8 of an inch around that piece of interfacing. So with this piece, because it's got corners, I like to snip a little bit into the corner so that it's easy to fold. So I'm going to kind of cut it right there, not all the way to the interfacing, just enough so that that creates two separate pieces, shall we say, a division where you can fold it more easily. And then this one needs to be cut as well. And if you find, you might even find you might want to take off a little bit of that, but I'll do it without. Same process, glue, put your glue down. And in this case, I might use the pointed edge because it's a little bit more, there's a smaller amount of fabric and you're trying to make them into a very defined point. That's where the pointed end will come in handy and help you, I guess, manipulate the piece into the shape that you need it to be. So when I was thinking about this, kind of reminds me of when I'm wrapping gifts at Christmas time. You know, when you do the ends and you're folding the ends in to make that nice finished fold. It's kind of like that. So here, I'm going to just tuck that one down there. And now I'm going to just fold it. Fold that, and this is where you need, maybe I need my glasses on. There we go. So if you get a little bit of fabric overhanging, or you just want to kind of, you can use that point. It really helps to help define your corners. And a bit more glue. I took my first Apliquick class with Mary Claire. She has done, she's going to be offering an Apliquick class that has the red truck, the old red truck that you see that's so popular. So you can watch for that on our website. It'll probably be in the fall when school starts back up. But that's a great project to start on. It's not super big. Here we go. So this is going to be a little trickier because of all the fabric. So, you know, there's one. I'm going to use my pointer. And I'm going to fold that in first. There we go. It's just sticking out a little bit here. So if you don't like it, and probably because I'm rushing a little bit, it's not as perfect. There we go. So that piece is done. Almost there. It's not a fast process, but it's very relaxing, and the finished result is quite nice. And it's going to be a stronger applique piece that's going to be durable on your quilts. There we go. I'm going to use my point again just to help shape that corner and make sure the corner is laying flat. There we go. So, nope, I'm going to be a little fussy. See a little ripple there. I'm just going to fix it. And so there is the finished strap on the other flip-flop. So you just keep going, making your shapes, using your tools, and that's how the Apliquick technique works. And here is, again, my little block that I have. So if you're interested in the tools, you can buy them separately, of course. You will be able to find those on our website if you search for Apliquick. I recently just purchased the Apliquick box. I get all the supplies from Kathy K. Wiley. She is a Canadian quilt pattern designer, and she does a lot of applique with a lot of her projects. So she has these boxes specifically and specially made to hold the tools. So it'll hold your glue, and it'll hold your 2 rods. It holds your, if you have 2 refills of the glue, your tweezers. Again, that's for picking up really tiny pieces and helping you place them. Small set of scissors here. And there's also room, she also has a large pair of scissors on her website that you can get if you're interested. And the Apliquick pencil. So as a special for all of those items new and in the box, the regular price is going to be $1.99, but our show special, if you get all of this, it will be $1.79, and that is everything together and half price on the scissors. So you can just look for that bundle under the Apliquick title on our website. I hope you enjoyed our video. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great conference. Bye-bye.